Okay, so back to the show. It sounds like the beginning of the podcast, right, Natalie?
It sure does sound like that,
Yeah, to everyone who's listening and not the people like us who are here recording it, because we're just going to jump right into it. This is Inane Blather. This is our second try tonight. And we are...
headstrong, stubborn, quibbling, self-centered, vindictive, obnoxious, hormonal, sexually preoccupied, evil, thieving, cross-dressing jerks.
And my computer is...
Not good.
So we just lost almost 20 minutes of stuff. As soon as GarageBand unexpectedly crashed, I was just like...
This is absolutely lit. This is lit.
Yes.
And scene.
And it was all really good, like brilliant commentary.
Brilliant. Yeah, at least we can
gone.
At least we can say that, since no one will hear it. Be like, you know what? Oh, that was probably the best stuff we ever recorded. People would really...
It was just flowing.
They would just be like in their cars listening to this, be like, preach. Oh, wow, I got to write this down. That's how everyone would have been. But instead, everyone's just going to be like, oh, what did I say before?
If they get that good of a response.
Yeah. What was it in the last one? Yeah. So
Ron DeSantis and the Soylent Green New Deal?
Well, I mean, I was using a bunch of drops and stuff, and...
Okay, Natalie.
Oh, yeah, let's see.
Socialism is when no car.
And Bernie Sanders. Oh, yeah, because someone had said that our podcast was...
Not good.
Okay, yeah.
That was us that said that.
Yeah. But Bernie
Because we're actually the only people who
Sanders
listen to it, too.
also said he listened to our show, and his remark was...
They're criminals and rapists!
And so that was not a good review. But...
Yeah, it wasn't our worst review, though, we'll say that much.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah,
you know.
Exactly. Yeah, we got a
That
review
was
from
the
one guy
Dalai
that was
Lama.
like...
I hope you get ass cancer and die, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, that's what the Dalai Lama said, so... Yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as I heard
After
that
we
bad
cleaned
review...
it up a little bit.
I was like,
know.
come on! Yeah, I had to clean it up a bit, but that was the general gist, yeah.
I'll cut your throat, I'll come to your house and kill your children.
Exactly.
General
Exactly.
gist at your service.
Like, thank you, Mr. Lama.
General gist.
I was doing a crossword puzzle yesterday, and 5-letter word for sheep protector ending in A. Man, that took me a while.
Sheep protector ending in A.
Llama. Yes. I was like, oh my God. I saw 5 letters. I was like, fence.
I'm
Nope,
not from
that's not
South
it.
America.
Yeah, it's like, what is this?
Golly.
Machu Picchu?
Machu Picchu.
Gesundheit. Oh yeah, so Hassan Piker did react to Natalie's news that
I need to see a dick.
won.
okay.
I did that already, but I won second place in my singing competition that I had entered.
Yes,
So
exactly.
yeah, Hassan was very proud of me.
What?
He was so proud. Yeah.
And even Jordan Peterson,
Bruh.
he was really
Yeah.
just floored, but
Okay, Natalie. Oh!
yeah, he was very excited about it.
Yeah.
And then I was like,
That's what I did it for.
I can sing too, Hassan. I can sing too. Don't cry for me.
Stop. Stop. You're fucking annoying me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, that's where these bad reviews are coming from. So we'll go over that instead of the weather. It's just been dreary weather here. Blah blah blah. It's very foggy. I played
nice
Settlers of Catan for the first time. That was fun. Yeah, I got. Yeah, Natalie got second in a regional singing competition. I got second in my first Settlers of Catan game. But
Muffy.
yeah, I looked down at the board and what I had to trade, and I was like, you know what?
This is politics.
Politics is just a game to me. Like Settlers of Catan or Yahtzee.
I played Yahtzee recently. That's a fun game.
I love Yahtzee. So does Sophia. That's how I teach her poker hands. That's how you know.
Yeah, you got a problem?
Not yet, but she'll get better. So
We're
I
working
might.
on it.
So yeah. So we burned up a good 5 minutes here. That's nice. We were talking about... Oh, gosh. We were talking about some decent stuff. Infighting on the left. Is it more...
The Liberal Report.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Oh, God. Yeah. The Liberal
Back here
Report.
on the Liberal Report.
Yeah.
Simping for Biden.
Oh, yeah. And Trump, we call him...
The N-word.
Yeah.
These people are sick.
But, yeah,
Bernie
the
said the same
Liberal
thing.
Report. Yeah, exactly. Bernie listened to that, and he was like...
This is propaganda.
We're like, yeah, Tucker, I actually agree with you on something. He's like, this neoliberal horse shit must stop. We're like, whoa. We were talking about guys like Curtis Connor, how those are good gateways to the left by being a good person.
Being a decent person. And you know what? That's at my boy Carlos Maza. He talks about the novel The Plague by Albert Camus.
Oh.
It's
novel
about fascism,
Coronavirus.
but it is a plague. Yeah. And he pretty much in the end, it's like the way to fight it is to be a decent person.
Yeah.
And it's like about like to do the right thing, like exactly what you're saying. Like you don't really have to, like Curtis Connor doesn't really have to be really political to show like the kind of person he is and the kind of things that he believes in too. Like the jokes that he makes, like how he doesn't punch down on things and he's like really nice and says things, he's an obvious feminist without getting like overtly like talking about politics. It's in everything that he does already.
What it is it's a good gateway to these
heroin.
It's a good gateway to discovering one's own bisexuality. No, it's a good gateway
with that
for
mustache.
for these would-be disaffected young men. Because, and I didn't say this before in the last episode that we just
they
had.
need a friend.
Well, no, but
Curtis
I think
is a friend.
Because entertainment, right? So this entertainment side of it, being funny, I think a big part of why the right has co-opted the young men and stuff like that is because of this stupid idea that is so easily pushed about you can't make jokes anymore and blah blah blah. So anything edgy or funny goes to these very not funny reactionaries, right? So because that's kind of where you'll drift to, because you can't have anything. You feel like you can't enjoy biting comedy or something, but if you have someone on the correct side, the left side, that leans that way, is just a good person, a feminist, someone who advocates for trans rights and has a general ACAB attitude like Curtis Connor, you can still use this comedy, very much so, an entertaining thing with this undergirding of good values that we're looking for. It's like, yeah, it's funny. Okay, because just more people need to be legitimately and with the guise of less politically, even though this is all political, but
it's politics.
Yeah, exactly.
People have to flush their toilet 15 times.
Yeah, that's what I meent to say.
That's politics.
This is politics.
Suck me from the back.
But it needs to have just that if you're gonna make fun of people and be able to have biting, like what would be not PC if you were doing it making fun of women or transgender people or whatever. It's like, yeah, just make fun of transphobes, make fun of misogynists.
Yeah.
Like Curtis Connor
That's
does
the difference. That's
such a
punching
good
down.
job of making fun of misogyny. And so it just naturally brings people that way. And at the same time, he's like, I mean, he can appeal to this section of maybe small part of like a leftist, not revolution, but, maybe a small part of leftism, but a powerful part of leftism because they're white men. He appeals to that because he's also manly enough. Like, that if he wanted to be a douchebag, he'd fuck all your girlfriends, okay? It's
He's
like,
so fucking cute.
yeah,
Oh
he's
my
just
God.
a good guy. He's good looking. He's manly in his own way because he's confident and funny and has values, And this somehow gets not taken up by these right-wing figures because they don't have those things. They lie about it, and because it feels like there's a vacuum, like this power vacuum where the left, for whatever reason, people can argue about it. Like we were talking about a couple weeks ago, they say, well, the left does reach out, and fuck that if people aren't seeing it. It's like, well, why do we all feel like the left isn't reaching out to these people? We all feel that way for a reason. It feels like there's a
why is
vacuum
there such
there.
a big problem?
Yeah, and then so you can easily just get sucked into that vacuum, and suddenly you think that these misogynist, small-dicked vulgarians just
Body shaming.
are actually manly. Andrew Tate, stuff like that. And eventually you'll be at Fresh and Fit and Andrew Tate, and you could actually think of someone like the Quarter Poundering as a voice of reason because you're a white guy who feels like the world's against you, even though the opposite is true. Like, there's a power vacuum here which is what we were saying before, and that's my view on it, but I had overlooked the fact that we have people like this, like Curtis Connor, anything that could be a stepping stone to more outright political takes, but entertainment that can actually feel funny, actually feel like it's punching somewhere, but a young man or just a young American doesn't even realize that it's because it's punching up. That's why it feels good, and that's why it's in a good place. So
Yeah, and it's hard to argue with that way. Like,
yeah, because they're on the right side.
Yeah,
Exactly. Because we're right.
Yeah, Curtis is awesome. I've been on a little kick, a little Curtis kick. Actually, the last couple days, he's so funny and sweet and cute and nice.
Yes.
And if they're looking for a community, you join Curtis Town, and it's someone who's really nice to you. And
of course, it's political. He's a mayor. He's the mayor of Curtis Town.
He's the mayor of Curtis Town,
Yeah.
and you're a valued member of the community.
Yeah, exactly. And
As soon
I'm
as you're
still a member, even though I heard him say,
That Doug guy? Wow, what a piece of shit.
but I still love him. So, and
He only tells the truth.
yeah, like,
Socialism is when no car.
but
Brilliant.
yeah, not everyone. I mean, I don't know. There's so many reasons behind like why. Either on one hand, like people on the left that could be, a male figure for people, whether young white men, where it's that easiest, most obvious thing, but young anyone that needs like this masculine type of influence, just a different viewpoint in how they interact with society. I mean, it's important, it could be for transgender men too, whatever it might be. You need to feel like someone has your back, and is showing you the way forward. And that can be just so subtly, like through just comedy and camaraderie. I mean, I don't know.
Comedy-ramedy.
People are lonely, man. And it's like, you can't just disregard that we need to be reaching out to people. So
Yeah, that's what I've been thinking a lot about incels and how people on the left and even people, people I know and work with, all these very compassionate people, sympathy for incels and such is pretty fucking low. But I really have been thinking about, it's like, so these guys that join ISIS, like, you really think that that's what they deserve?
Yeah.
Like, that fuck them? Like, that they just are totally wholly responsible for where they are in their life, or the gang members in America, people that commit these different crimes. It's like, that's what you don't think about that. I think a lot of progressive people would say they don't think that way. They would understand the systems that got people into these places of desperation, and they just can't see it because these guys are white and because they think they should know better. But it's like, if they knew better, they would do better. They don't know better. That's why they're doing this.
Yeah.
Like, you have to figure out what's causing people to be like this rather than blaming it on the people, because you, of all people, again, should know that people are products of their fucking society. That's why you're a progressive person, like, because you're supposed to understand that concept and, like, about how we're all, like, in this together.
Yeah, and especially from our point of view, it's like,
I just feel like that these guys get
Dead air.
No, sorry, I was kind of cutting you off there. Well, I was just thinking too, especially from our point of view, where it's like, yeah, you could talk about people being products of their environment. They only have so much to pull from. And also because there really aren't that many just evil people that know what they're doing is wrong.
Exactly.
And you know who those few people are? They're capital owners. They're the people at the top. What's wrong isn't making the bad decisions on itself. It's knowing it's bad and bringing other people to do it with you, So it's like capitalist thought leaders. I mean, it's all, people doing this to bring in views and a following from disaffected young men or whatever it might be, because it makes them money, because this is capitalism's fault. As I'm just violently shaking my head up and down right now, it's like, it should be obvious to us. It's just, I mean, there's those levels of defenses and, underlying fragility that makes us, I don't know.
Because, I just don't think that
we
people
relate
are
too much
evil.
to it sometimes. So
Yeah. I just don't think that people are evil. People, it's like, I just had this conversation, and it was like about racism, and I'm like, well, yeah, that's just ignorance. And it's like, really, it's not like hatred. Like, people are
where does
evil.
hatred
Pretty much,
come
I
from?
don't really believe
ignorance
in that. Like, it's like, so, because again, thinking about Hitler as a baby and, like, blowing his brains out, a newborn baby or something like that.
Exactly.
That's fucking gross. No one would ever do that.
Exactly.
Like, besides a real sociopath.
It's like, you can kill Hitler going
Like-
back in time, but you have to chuck the baby onto the ground and stomp on him. It's like, that's the only way.
And
to
it's
do
like,
it.
hey, it's Hitler. Come on, guys. And it's
no,
like, no,
it's a baby. Yeah, exactly. It's like, we're
a
pro-choice,
newborn
but
baby.
that's, we'll agree, that's a fucking baby. It's been born.
Because it's literally a baby. Yeah. Yeah, and
they're like, yes,
just
the bonnet has
that
to stay on while you do it. Oh God, not the bonnet.
Is that a Handmaid's Tale?
I don't know, just a little baby with a bonnet, so it's even cuter.
Oh,
I'm sure Hitler
I
was a cute
wearing
baby.
A bonnet.
Everyone was a cute baby at some point.
Everyone was a baby
Yeah.
that was like sweet.
You're like, I don't
little
know, I've
soft
seen some
skin
ugly
and
ass
cute
babies.
hands
No.
and- Yeah, people aren't born evil. It's like, and understanding violent crime and blah 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 blah, and these choices that people make. It's because of poverty and because of desperation and all these other things. That it's not a person being a bad person, just having a lot of bad options to choose from is what it really is.
Yeah,
and
says the
then you talk
white-
about people doing crime and
white leftists like yourself.
Everyone is
middle
stupid
class and all
except
this.
me.
Yeah.
No, but you're
And then there's
you're
people
right.
that do crimes that are not violent, that affect people a lot but it's people who don't even need to commit the crimes. People with money, like corruption and stuff like that.
God.
They don't even need to be doing that. They're doing it because they just fucking can, and they want more of stuff they already have too much of.
God.
Yeah, it's like, where there's people, it's like, well, sure, violent crime is immediately affecting the people that are immediately affected by it, obviously, because it's like a physical thing. But these other kinds of crimes can have huge effects on people's lives
and
that
not
are
even
not so, like, you didn't get shot in the face, but your life was ruined because
someone
your
lost their house,
your retirement,
because
you did
corrupt.
you're now homeless,
or it's like, and even instead of looking at it, consequentially, where it's like, but more just like bare morality of, those people committing white collar crime or corruption or something. It's like, forget the consequences. You had more choices, like nothing, because even like in terms of, I had to do this or my business would go under or this and this and that, like Hassan Piker says, the only risk you're taking when you're wealthy is that you might not be wealthy anymore. You'll become a worker again. It's like, that's not a fucking risk. That's our fucking life. So it's like, you had a choice, before committing these non-violent crimes. You had a choice to do something different or not do anything at all. Even if you lost all of your money, that's a choice. It's like, that's a choice. That's the same coercion that gets us to work for you, bitch. Like, come on. That you might be on the street at some point. Oh, but I thought that was a fucking choice, capitalists. It's like, I thought that it was you were willingly engaging in a contract to work or to follow the fucking law with your money. But that's getting off track. But
okay, Natalie.
The other day, what were we talking about just a little bit ago about whatever? I don't know, white supremacy or something, probably. No. The other day, I was just really talking about...
The Soylent Green New Deal?
No, about Kanye and him on Alex Jones, and like how incredibly fucking disgusting it is that people would ask him to be on their show. Like how, regardless of his beliefs and how, unbelievably racist, and, even if he's having a mental breakdown, which it's like, duh, obviously he is. He sounds like someone at a bus station at like 3 a.m., The fact that people would have him on their show and let him spew this stuff so he can say the quiet part out loud, and then people keep talking to him, that's fucking gross because it's all for money.
It's exploitative,
Using a mentally ill person to gain money and also normalizing white supremacy. And then Kanye takes the heat for it. Obviously, he's the one saying it, but they're giving him the fucking microphone.
Yeah. They're purposefully channeling it.
It's so gross.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and like prompting him. Really, really disgusting kind of... Capitalism is when...
These people are
sick.
Yeah, exactly. Capitalism is when
people have to flush their toilet 15 times.
Now I don't remember which drops I was using over and over again in the last episode. But for now,
sit down
and listen. Oh, you talk about capitalism a lot, though, Natalie.
Sounds like you're pretty into this, buddy.
Oh, boy, I'm burpy today.
Oh, you don't like capitalism, but you have a job. Interesting.
Interesting.
Uh-oh, seems pretty satanic.
Curtis Connor again, folks. Yeah.
Did you see Ben Shapiro talk about MLK and stuff?
Like, yeah, I didn't watch the whole thing.
Anti the Civil Rights Act.
Yeah.
And how he's like the federal government didn't or shouldn't have had the power to tell businesses that they couldn't be racist.
Yeah. Just like I was rewatching some more news, the whitewashing of Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy, which is a great one from last year. And that one about it should be just the easiest fucking question. They're asking Rand Paul. I think it was Rachel Maddow was asking Rand Paul, like, but do you think it's okay for a private business to put up a no black people served sign? Like, and he just dances around it and will not say no, because when it comes down to it, you know, the same people that don't want to be able to not serve transgender or gay people or something, it's like, and probably in their heart of hearts don't want to serve black people or Mexican immigrants or something like that. You know,
or anyone they just don't want to because they want to just be biased in whatever way fits them in the moment because they're so incredibly entitled because they're fucking white.
Yeah. Or
they think that
because
if
it
anyone's not like
legitimately
me, then
matches
I can just
their values and their actual political ideology, that a business being able to do whatever it wants takes precedent over racial justice or equality or tolerance or anything like that. It's like, yeah,
which is so fucking weird. If that's your belief, what the
and
fuck?
if you think that's a bad part of it, maybe your entire belief system needs a second look there, buddy.
It's so funny to think that people are so obsessed with like businesses. I mean, I understand obviously why, because of how our lives are, but I know, but what about my business? What about the economy? Hang on, I gotta take this toy away from Marcel. He's like making a lot of noise.
Okay. Oh man. Speaking of Martin Luther King Jr., good old at FBI. This was making the rounds yesterday because the FBI Twitter account tweeted out, on this 40th anniversary of MLK Day as a federal holiday, the FBI honors one of the most prominent leaders of the civil rights movement and reaffirms its commitment to Dr. King's legacy of fairness and equal justice for all. And their mentions were pretty brutal.
Yeah, I bet.
There's this like this really great fake tweet about that everyone just had the screenshot where it was like from FBI, and it was something about like how they killed Martin Luther King or something, and just 90% of the replies to that was that screenshot. But let's see here. So I figured since we got so thrown off when my computer took a dump all over someone's chest, that I could just go to Politics L's because these are great starting points. Ooh, man, this is, oh my God, she tweeted it again? I was going to say this is a classic, but this dumb bitch, Laverne Spicer, she's on Twitter just doing the worst conservative takes constantly all the time, including a really bad one about pronouns. It was really similar to this, but Shakespeare didn't walk around putting pronouns in his plays. That's why they're classics.
What?
Imagine if this dude wrote, my name is Macbeth and my pronouns are they, them. SMH. What a moron.
I feel like they just don't know what pronouns are.
They
like,
still
legitimately, you need to
don't.
watch like Schoolhouse Rock or something, or whatever you learn it on.
Yeah.
It's so
second grade. I don't know. I guess
basic. Yeah.
I guess maybe
God.
fourth grade. It depends, but
Yeah, my pronouns are kiss my ass.
yeah.
Okay, use that.
Okay,
Use that in a
Ted
sentence.
Cruz. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ted Cruz went to the bakery, and after thinking about it a while, Kiss My Ass decided to get some donuts.
Kiss.
That's really
yeah.
great, Ted. Good job.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's just so funny. That's what I like about him, is he's not cringy at all. He's like very not trying too hard. He's just like an effortless sort of comedian. You know?
Yes.
That's what I like.
Oh,
about Ted
he's
Cruz.
great. Real slick
Such
sharpshooter.
Such charisma.
Charisma out the
Yeah.
yin yang. Here's one.
Yeah.
Jesus was not a bleeding heart liberal. He did not ultimately save you out of pity for you. He saved you for his own glory, and he saved you from the infinite wrath he had against you for insulting his glory. This is the masculine theology of the Bible. Learn to love
What
it.
the fuck? That's the worst interpretation I've ever heard about Jesus being like some bro. God.
Oh, man.
Wow. He did it because he's petty. Cool. What a great leader that you have there for your religion.
Yeah, exactly.
Weird thing to believe.
Oof. I don't even want to say this one. That's bad.
Because it says the N-word.
Yeah.
The N-word.
It's pretty close. It's a picture of Emmett Till. And it says, it happened to
I don't like the
Emmett
sound
in
of that.
1955. It's happening to Andrew in 2023.
No fucking way.
Oh my
No fucking way.
God. Oh, and we already went
That's
over
absolutely fucking
FDR being the
disgusting.
most overrated president. So I've gone back far enough.
Wasn't Emmett Till like 13 years old?
Oh, yeah, I think he was. Yeah, maybe he was that young. I thought he was like 15 or something. There was one thing that I thought was funny. That's a good. I was gonna send it to you, and I don't think I did. One of my Twitter friends had posted this great 2 pictures side by side. Let me get to my Twitter pictures here. Oh yeah, so it's just a screenshot of her chat, her messages. Yeah, where it was it's a message from her mom that says, just gave out socks and protein bars to the homeless, headed home. And her in the drafts typing ***, unhoused. And then instead sending the message in response to, just gave out socks and protein bars to the homeless, headed home. And her response is, oh, that's nice. Good job, mama. And it's like, yeah, it's like, just imagine if instead of, being supportive and happy, I was really annoying, I think is what her tweet was. But it's like, man, that's so... Yeah, imagine if your first reaction to someone doing something good is correcting the way that they talk about it, you know? They just fucking did something, all right? And this is like a problem that we have that is like, turned up to the point of absurdity from the perspective of the right. But you know what? These stereotypes exist for a reason. It's true. Yeah. If you go around in leftist spaces, even in real life, but especially online, like people just love to lie in wait so that they can correct you on something when you all want the same thing. You all want the same thing. But, oh boy.
And it's definitely like that response wouldn't be as effective as just making sure that you yourself, the person who knows to use the phrase unhoused, just making sure that you use it so then they can learn. You wouldn't correct someone like that. You just make sure
lead
that
by example.
You make a point to, yeah, exactly. That it's like, yeah, it's like, yeah, great job. I'm so proud of you getting out there. Unhoused people have such a hard time, blah, blah, blah. And you can just go, like, you can have it in there and just being the way that it should be said without it directly, like, confronting someone without, wait, what did I say? Yeah. Without, like, making them feel stupid.
What did I just say?
Whatever. I forgot how I started that sentence.
Yeah.
So,
but, sometimes I start a sentence and... and I just don't know how I'm going to end it. Yeah.
That's how pretty much all my sentences start.
Doctor, I'm sad. Sad backwards is das, and das not good. Anyway, here's your bill. No, that was just happened to have my phone up here. Okay, really so talking about, we were talking about white collar criminals and bullshit like that, and how awesome it is to have unelected capitalist overlords as the people who make the decisions about our day to day lives until we die.
It's like what is it called? Utopia.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
this is how exactly a society, like, if you were to build one, if you could make one in your mind, our society is exactly
If you asked,
how I would want
if you
it.
asked your 7-year-old to draw you a picture of the happiest world possible, this is what they would do. This is exactly what
Derek
they would envision.
Chauvin, George Floyd would be
Holding hands, going to a job at a
Prominently
factory
displayed.
together, and not asking about
Yep.
each other's salaries. And calling each
Pretty
other out
much.
for a time clock theft if they took a break.
Yeah.
If they took a 20-minute break instead of 15. But but yeah, I've said it to you before, and I just really feel strongly about it in terms of something that we can do right now, some type of shit that like Democrats could do, you know, more of a move towards social democracy
rats.
while we're in this capitalist hellscape. We talk about raising taxes on the wealthy to pay for so much. I mean, it's so obvious that so many things could be quote unquote paid for through higher taxes on just the wealthy, on not the working class. It's such bullshit the way that everyone has to beat around the bush in Congress and stuff because that's, you know, hands are in their pockets type of thing. But
Beating around their bushes, if you know what I'm saying.
yeah, George Bushes and Jebs. But
George and the Jets.
and that dead loser George Senior. But,
What a loser.
yeah, he fucking died. But it's like, so anytime, because in my mind it's like it should really be on like corporate taxes. There's got to be better ways. I've thought about this. This is like the stuff I think about while I'm in the shower. It's like, so how could they set up like a revenue tax system that's marginal rates so that large corporations would necessitate giving more money to their employees or paying higher taxes once you reach revenues of like over $100 million, and whether it's regardless of overhead. But at the same time, it's like you raise taxes on corporations and they're like, well, they're just going to raise taxes on consumers. And it's true. It's bullshit. Like they get to get away with anything.
Don't let them.
Well, I think the better way of getting around that is only raise taxes on things that can't be passed down to working class consumers. And that's what I'd mentioned to you before. We need luxury taxes. Taxes
sure.
on things that only go to the wealthy. Where it's like, obvious things like yacht and helicopter taxes, stuff that they're still just gonna pay for. Because whether their yacht is $80 million or $95 million, they'll get it. And that $80 million yacht could have brought in $15 million in taxes, you know? Yacht and helicopter taxes, empty investment property taxes. If you're not selling or renting it to someone, paying big taxes on anything that's worth like over, $1 million or something like that. So that it's like, well, either these property rates have to go down so it's more affordable for people, because I don't give a shit if you're only using it for investment. Maybe you just make a little bit less money, or it's going to someone. Someone is living there. Stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what it's for.
Taxes that can only be levied against the wealthy that will not be passed down to consumers in the working class. And it just seems like there's got to be a way to do that. I'm not a legislator. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a tax accountant. But it's like, it seems like there are so many ways to do this in a simple way.
One way to just not even have to do any more taxes is just so fucking stupidly obvious. It's seriously like, is satire legitimately dead? Is our military budget?
Oh, yeah.
It is absolutely mind-bogglingly insanely huge. It's so incredibly gigantic. There's so much, like trillions of dollars go missing, and we have people dying in the streets and kids, you know what Kelsey was doing? teen feed. She was signed up at a soup kitchen place like in Seattle feeding homeless teenagers. And I was like, that phrase is so incredibly sad, you know? And then we have by far the biggest military budget in the world, way more than China or India, they have over 1 billion motherfucking people in their countries. We don't even have anywhere close to that. It seems so
China has
simple
1 billion
to take
people.
$100 billion.
China has 1 billion people and a
From our
massive
military
light
budget.
rail system all over the country. Like, and they still get to put their finger in the pie all over the world too, just like we do. Except they don't do it. They don't do it with a bloated military that is so bloated because of private contracting.
Yes. That's what I'm like. It's really that money. It's like, it's right there. We don't even have to even like legitimately, though obviously I'm like, nobody should be a billionaire, abolish billionaires. Nobody can have that kind of personal wealth. Corporations can only have this much profit and then it has to go back to their employees or it has to go into a general fund or whatever, something communist like that. But without that being, you know, because that's so idealistic, it's just the money is already there. And it's there because we lost a bunch of it and it didn't even fucking matter. It doesn't even matter that the Pentagon loses billions of dollars, like seriously, like misplaces billions of dollars when they try to recoup like their whole budget and stuff. It's just gone. And it doesn't matter. We're still buying tanks. We still have all of the advanced technology that we could possibly have, you know, for weapons and bullshit like that.
Still, it's the biggest.
It'd be nice if you could
reallocate only
it.
American manufacturing. And I mean, so it's like if you want to, you know, just eliminating stuff like that sure doesn't help the working class. You know, I mean, it has to be redirected at the least, but it's so bloated or just restructured in how it's done so that people working within the military-industrial complex tangentially still have jobs or better pay, and we're not paying all this. But you know what? Look at it. I mean, 10 F-35 fighter jets, 10 of them. Mm-hmm. You know how much money that is? $780 million. Like 10. It's so insane. It's $750 million. Like, good God.
Yeah.
Like,
and for what? For us to be fucking losers?
For them to crash on the runway in front of people's apartment complexes, like I saw a few weeks ago.
And we're legitimately not very good at war. We got our asses kicked in Vietnam. We had to pull out of Afghanistan after like 2.5 decades of doing nothing. Like, what are we even legitimately doing with that military? Whatever. It was.
It was only 20 years.
I thought it was
2001. That's when we went in.
Oh, I guess it's
9/11. Yeah.
Does
anyone remember 9/11?
2 decades. fucking around in Afghanistan, killing a bunch of civilians, killing our troops, giving people PTSD, ruining economies, ruining people's lives, and all this with this huge budget. We should be fucking dominating, and we look like little dumb bitches.
Yeah.
I really just, it's so embarrassing on every level, like where we should be so badass.
Yeah.
And we're
not. How much
we're like
nationalistic
fools who can't do
pride we could have?
Right.
even like not being right wing, where it would be like, yeah, I mean, you could even just be prideful and like checking your privilege. Like, well, I mean, it is pretty good that I live in like the best fucking place on earth. It could be like that, but it's not. Like, people die in the streets. We're poorly educated. Wealth inequality is massive. Our
pets' heads
are
falling
falling off and being shot by the police. You know, and it's like, yeah.
Thanks a lot, Puritans.
Yeah.
But exactly. It's like the Iraq War, or the Afghanistan War, just pulling out and being like,
that went slightly better than the worst it could have possibly gone.
I guess. I mean, I guess the Taliban isn't in the White House.
Yeah, our involvement in South America and Africa, and how we've destabilized nations and forced people into abject poverty and violence and gangs and all this kind of stuff, starvation, because of our fucking around with all of this money that we have to play with that we don't. I mean, it's just, America's just so embarrassing to me. I'm so bummed about the principles that it
Yeah.
was founded on and the way it could be, and like really what, it could be really cool, but it's so fucking
Not.
much of a business is all that
Yeah.
it is. That's why, because you can't care about people if you care about money more. So that's what it comes down to here.
Yeah.
That's
But
it's a big old business.
like people say, I mean, America isn't a country. It's 13 corporations stacked in a trench coat. But and it really is. It's
Is no one else seeing
crazy.
this? Yeah.
Yeah. And what is his job? He works at the business factory doing business. That's right. For all of you BoJack
business.
Horseman fans out there.
Hojack Borsman.
We just need someone to sit down with a tax code that just has a general vibe of like
Creativity to me is just like it's like a bird, like
a bald eagle soaring through the air and
Or like we could look at
lifting
maybe
up
check some other.
the melting pot that is our working class. Anyway,
It's a tapestry. We could maybe look at other countries' tax return
Yes, yes,
systems,
it's a
sort
rich
of, and be like,
tapestry.
oh, huh. That's a good way to do
Yeah.
it, because I don't think other people do. Like, even our tax code. Okay, there's another thing. A thing we have to fucking do, pay our taxes, and you pretty much have to pay someone to do it for you because it's so incredibly complicated. That's America right there.
Yeah.
That's so great.
And
what a great
it's only
system for people
complicated
who are,
because-
working class people especially.
because Intuit and other companies
Of
have lobbied the
corporations.
government to make sure it stays complicated. When what is it Sweden or Norway?
America.
Which one of those Nordic countries?
You get like a text.
Yeah, no, they literally just
Some of
send
them-
you a bill
yeah.
and they're like, "This is it," and we'll just take it out of your next paycheck or something like that. Like it's just so
Yeah.
easy because
You can get stuff. It's
this
like
is
fits
what
on a
you
postcard.
owe because this is what the rules are, and you're like, okay, and you pay it. And it's like, ugh. Meanwhile, someone like
Yeah.
me, I'm gonna have to pay money to be able to properly pay my taxes as someone who's living in a dilapidated house and his pets' heads are falling off just because I finally made more than $50,000. Because I'm almost at
which
the
is like-
median income for living in
If
this country.
someone- I think that if you make less than $500,000 a year, you could not pay taxes.
Yeah, it's
and
crazy.
then people like Jeff Bezos and all that, because like we've talked about this, like how LeBron is closer to you and I with his wealth
Yeah.
than he is to Jeff Bezos.
he's almost a billionaire.
Or Bill Gates. Like not even. He makes like $90 million a year. And like it's not even close. He's not even close to these guys that are uber rich. It's like how they do that with small businesses paying taxes too. I'm like, no. If you have these tiny mom and pop shops, you should pretty much be paying no taxes because you're directly like involved in your community. You're really like making an impact where you are, and like you don't always have the resources, and you can like really make these people's lives better at this community levels and stuff with these small businesses.
Yeah.
But there's too much of a painting with like here in Washington, like B&O taxes and stuff. Like everybody is kind of at the same rate, and then that makes it so the people that are smaller, they are paying more.
Yeah.
That's like poor people pay more in taxes because of like relativity, like sales tax on their gas. Like the rich people pay the same amount as poor people, but poor people have a lot less money
Yeah.
to be
It's
spending.
like there's
so
a
relatively,
difference.
they're spending a lot more of their money on taxes.
Yeah, it's like, okay, well, let's say the rich guy and the poor guy are both paying 5% for some sort of tax. It's like, and for the rich guy, that's like hundreds of thousands of dollars. So that matters more. It's like, yeah, but for the poor guy, that's one of his meals for the day. It's like, that's a fucking meal. That's part of his heating bill.
Like he'll
yeah.
die without it.
Exactly.
You won't die without hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you'll still have hundreds of fucking thousands of dollars left over. That's why you have to pay hundreds of thousands of
Yeah,
dollars.
exactly.
Because you have a surplus amount. These other people are having to, their power bill, food, those things that keep you sort of alive and like disconnected from like the circle. I mean,
their
not
gas
circle
to
of
get in their
life,
car
the
to
food
drive to the
chain,
job to make you
keeping
more
you
rich.
out of- Yeah. So then you have to complain about paying so much in taxes.
You little poopy bitch.
Pathetic.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly, Noah.
Exactly. Hi, Zach. But
Egg Zach Lee.
yeah, that's a guy I know. What up, Egg? Yo, you Eggly.
Oh, Egghead Lee.
Sounds like you're pretty into this, buddy.
Yeah.
EGLY. You
You Eggly. You Eggly.
These people are sick.
But yeah, I mean,
It's true.
it's just, and it's funny how, I don't know, how there's even a reaction to being like, well, I mean, you gotta make, you don't want to drive rich people out of the country. You don't want to drive corporations out of the country. It's like, the way that it is now, the fact that they're here, the fact that Elon Musk, like, that we can't just purposely tax him into oblivion out of our fucking country, is
so
kind of
nice.
crazy, because it's like, as the numbers show, and as we just went over, for a normal person, this is not the best country in the world to live in. But rich people still choose to live here because if you're wealthy, of course it's the best place to
Hell
live
yeah.
in. Because all of those issues
Hell
for
yeah.
day-to-day life are only affect
Don't
the working
exist to you.
class. Yeah, healthcare and education and stuff like that. It's like, that's all where we're lagging behind as a country. But if you're rich, then it's like, well, fuck yeah, I'll be in the United States, because the United States is an incredible place, full of so many, cultures and people and so much money and cities and landscapes and so much opportunity to make even more money. So if you're wealthy, you don't have to worry about, bad education systems, bad infrastructure, because you have a plane
Becoming
or a
homeless.
driver, or becoming homeless, or the state of our welfare systems, or once again healthcare, because you're fine. And so of course you'll stay. Of course he'd rather be in Austin, Texas than in South Africa, where he's fucking from, or Canada even, because
But also, why would those companies move? Isn't America aren't we the consumers?
Yeah,
aren't we the
exactly.
market for it
you're
anyways?
gonna get your stuff
you're not
manufactured
gonna.
somewhere else. I
and
dare
you're not gonna
you. We'll raise your
Do it.
taxes. I dare
What
you
are you
to
gonna
leave.
do? Move to Canada? You're gonna move to this place in Europe? Yeah, they probably have a way less progressive tax system than we
Yeah.
do. These countries with actual
like-
social welfare systems and national health care and
Yeah,
stuff.
you're gonna move to Canada?
Yeah, move your business there.
There's
You want to
40
live in
people there.
Yeah. Yeah, there's fewer people there than in California.
Yeah.
Or it's the same amount. You're not gonna move. They're not gonna go somewhere else. They're not gonna go to these places that don't have consistent, clean drinking water supplies and blah 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 blah. They don't where else would they go?
Even
They're
moving
not gonna go to
state
Europe
to state
because-
within the United States, we still have insanely wealthy places based in our state. Like Microsoft and Starbucks and Amazon. They're
There
all
are
here,
8
and we have higher
billionaires
taxes
who
than
live
most
in
other
Washington.
states. So this could really be cranked up a lot higher. But at the end of the day, we just need a way, because even we just can't convince people, because of the propagandistic nature of our entire system and the way that capitalism works in our country, as being the status quo, and things are the way they are. We'll pick up an economics textbook. It's it's just propaganda, really. It's propaganda and it's some math problems. That's what economics in the United States is. But it's so don't even try to convince people that it's it's the fault of these billionaires. It's the fault of these gigantic corporations that these taxes are passed on to you as a consumer. There's just no way to fight that at this point. We need to just ensure that these costs cannot be passed down to the consumer. And that's why we need a yacht tax. That's why we need this investment property taxes. That's why we need corporate revenue taxes, not profit taxes. You know what? If Amazon makes $100 million in revenue in a month, then they should be paying some taxes on that. That's part of your overhead now. And if you want to pass that price on to the consumer, guess what? We might finally actually have some fucking competition for you, Amazon. We might actually go to the small business that doesn't pay revenue taxes because they don't make $100 million a month in revenues, and they can supply something just as cheaply as you do. Or you just decide to, I don't know, make less money. I don't give a fuck.
No.
I think the stock market is like the worst thing that's happened to the United States, and it's tough to get around it.
Market and how terrible
because,
it is.
Because to make capitalism flourish, because we can complain about it all we want, but it got us to this place of excess and wealth, in a good way. Because of what it is. There's very terrible means to get there, but capitalism as a structure got us to this point, where we're sitting here talking every week, because there is, consumerism and all that has driven us to this point. Sure, it's destroyed the environment and it's murdered millions of people through starvation and poverty, but there's no denying that it did push humanity forward. But now at this point, oh my God, I completely lost track of what I was saying. What was I saying just now?
Wait, what was I saying?
I'm like, despite that capitalism got us here. So because of that, the structure of investment, to grow economies, is unfortunately important. It's the basis of capitalism. It's making money off of your money, but people are using investments to make money, to grow a business, right? And so the stock market is the distillation of that and making it accessible to people, quote unquote, and that's so much is tied to this. And it's like, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way if you want to utilize capitalism in its current state to actually keep pushing things forward and uplift people out of poverty and continue doing that. It needs to not be through the stock market. There's got to be better ways. It would probably come down to, co-op sharing things where people are actually part of the company and stuff. So you can get in at the ground floor. It's, market socialism stuff. But the stock market itself, where decisions for the good of the people are never made because it's only for the good of the shareholders. It's just so obvious that this is not a sustainable economic model. We're all gonna die.
Wait, you
dude.
mean that if you were if you were gonna have your daughter draw a picture of the most perfect utopia, it wouldn't involve the stock market?
Yeah, exactly. 3 big bags of trash! Don't you worry about blank. Let me worry about blank. But, yeah.
Don't you worry about Planet Express.
Let me worry about blank.
Awesome. Awesome to the max.
Yeah, exactly. Man, I really am pretty upset that we missed that first part. It wasn't very funny.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't very funny at all. I think one thing, I don't know why I had this down, because it's not election season, but it's funny thinking about, especially during election season, we talk about undecided voters, where at some points, especially when it was like Trump and Biden or something like that. It's like, who the fuck is an undecided voter at this point? Where it's like, who are these people? And of course, there are a small group of people that both know literally nothing about it somehow and also will vote. It's very strange. I don't think many of those people exist. But I realized, I was like, what? It's funny we can talk about undecided voters and legitimately wonder who the hell these people are. But it's because it turns out it isn't normie people. The ones that I've heard are always elitist, wealthy, conservative douchebags, etc. Like Jordan Peterson in 2016. I've heard that a couple times where he's like, well, if I did vote, I would probably go in planning on voting for Hillary. And then at the last minute just said, you know what, I'm voting for Trump. That weird thing. It's like, you were an undecided voter? Like, that's how you were seeing this? And it's like, or David Brooks in 2008, who ended up deciding at the last minute to vote for Obama, out of all things. Where it's like, there's like this similar theme, because they're so outside of our normal lives. They see the world so differently. If you're an elitist conservative, you don't even have to be that wealthy. Like, David Brooks or Jordan Peterson, they're just, top 5%ers or something like that. But it's like, you just, that level of privilege to even, like, bend your ideology that way? I don't know. There's something about it where it's like, that's why normal people that follow even 10% of the news, they make up their mind pretty easily. They know what side they're
Undecided voters were just people who didn't want to say they were going to vote for Trump.
Yes. In 2016, that's what it seems like to me. For sure. For sure. It's like, that one was so clear that it's like, if you can't decide between business as usual for some, America, which is like Hillary, except for a woman, and then, I don't know.
Trump, are you fucking joking me? Like,
well, that's 2016.
Try out this pussy grabbing piece of shit. God damn, disgusting rapist. Like, everything on the list. Checks every box. Yeah.
These people are sick. People have to flush their toilet 15
I could shoot
times.
someone on Fifth Avenue.
Exactly. Yeah, all this talk.
She's a very nasty woman.
All this talk about undecided voters.
This is propaganda.
Exactly, Tucker. No, thanks, Tucker.
Good take.
It was so funny. I'll wrap it up on this. So I was watching something with Sophia, and a clip of Tucker came on, and she even like with a lot of the stuff flying over her head, it's real big words, with any of the crap that I listen to. But she was immediately kind of taken aback. She kind of furrowed her brow. She's like, Tucker Carlson? And I was like, yeah, he's been mentioned on RM Brown and stuff. She's like, because I think she recognized the name. And then just a couple clips later, of course, our favorite comes on, and Sophia's like, Benny Shapiro, and
Benny Shapiro.
She asked a question, and I paused it, and we were talking. She's like, he's a lot like Tucker Carlson, except talking faster. Like, she literally said that, and I was like, yeah. I was
my gosh.
He's just a little different. Tucker Carlson is more of a white racist.
Catholic.
She's like, ew, she hates it so much. We need to get all of our youth just on the right path. We just need to keep going, because
on the left path.
You know what? There's just more kids. They're just around more people. Even someone like my daughter, growing up in a small town surrounded by MAGA shitheads, like, she's still like, her cousin is black, her friends. She has a friend who I think is thinks about, kind of transgender, like a kid that's non-conforming, and she
gender fluid.
and she likes making friends with people with disabilities,
neurodivergent
exactly
people.
And like it's like, that's how it starts out. Like, it has to be indoctrinated out of you,
being a decent person,
and that's the only way we could see things positively. is like each new group, as long as we can stave off fascism, like we do get better. Like we do make progress. And hopefully the world doesn't burn up before then, before Sophia's generation.
So that's all we have to do is stop fascism?
Is
easy. We already did it in World War II.
Yeah, is punch some fucking Nazis.
Maybe a little too late.
But
yeah.
no, what we need to do is make sure that the world doesn't catch on fire, and we love and cherish and educate these young people until they're our age. And then make them take care of us. No, because hey, when
good
you're
you have it in this post-apocalyptic nightmare.
When you're 30 and I'm 59, you're gonna be taking care of me. It's like, what? You'll still be working, asshole.
You better be. Yeah.
But anyway, so there's a positive, blind positivity. What else you got to wrap it up?
I ain't got nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Well, thanks for coming on my show.
It's
another time of me just talking and
cabeza.
talking and talking. We have the best reviews of episodes where you talk more. So let's work on that.
By what? In what? By your review of it? That's biased.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, everyone else. Oh shit! God dang it!
Like,
yeah, everyone else is just like
Natalie.
Doug he's the real deal.
Yeah.
Let's go to Doug. Doug is the guy you go to around here.
They're like
Doug is when no car.
Yeah, exactly.
That Doug guy? Wow, what a piece of shit.
But yeah, most of them are like, "Oh, Doug, yeah, that's pretty much why I never make it through the full hour and 20 minutes or whatever you do." So, but well, I'm gonna look forward to trying to get this one up on time. I've been really slacking, haven't had a good New Year, but I'm getting on it. I'm getting on shit. Hey, let's end this with how are you doing so far? It's been 2.5 weeks on 2023. Go.
I feel great. I have a new job, meeting interesting people, feeling like I'm making a legitimate, albeit small, but whatever difference in the world. Yeah.
You are making a difference. It's cool.
Albeit Einstein. No, like Albert.
Oh, nice. French Einstein.
Yeah, it's a bit of a stretch there, but
albeit of a stretch.
Yeah, it's. I feel pretty very positive. Yeah. Oh, so pretty.
Okay. Good.
And especially gay.
Yeah, I'm feeling really fucking gay.
Like I gotta get back, get to the gym.
Ooh,
but
I've been on that.
Yeah, I feel like I'm good. I'm getting good at setting my boundaries. I'm good at not having expectations of people, and just really working on being the best version, the happiest version of myself that I can possibly be. Because talk about leading by example. I know I have a lot of friends and people that are close in my life, and I want to show them what's possible too. I want everyone to be as happy as they can be, and it starts with myself.
You're like, well, speaking of you not uploading the podcast on time, I've been working on not having expectations of other people. So it's been going really well.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, whatever.
Okay, Natalie.
I'm just going to go smoke some weed.
Yeah. You're like, I guess that's not going up anytime soon. No, I need to get back on a good schedule, but I have been, I don't know. Could have been worse already, but I've been hitting the gym more.
Well, that went better than the worst.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, my New Year's resolution.
I need to see a dick.
But no, I've been. I think just working in where I can for hitting the gym because it is so good for my mental health. Has been I'm doing 7 days on, 7 days off. So it's like every day.
Ooh, 7 days
yeah,
on.
well, because every day that I don't have Sophia, Monday through Sunday morning, I'll hit the gym. And then I'll have Sophia, it'll be off, and Sophie and I can do things together. And then right back to it. So hopefully that'll be
cool.
good.
You can
already
do some
feel
home
better.
stuff at the gym, like you guys
Well,
can
that's what
do
Sophie and I-
like jumping
yeah.
jacks and like push-ups.
There's a
and
fun
stuff
little,
is
yeah,
good
like
for you.
calisthenics thing that on YouTube that we do in the living room, and it's like, and sometimes it's just
Fun.
10 minutes it's for kids, and I'm like, oh, I hurt. It's like I just hit the gym for
movement.
45 minutes and worked like my upper body, and it's like, this was harder. It's just something about it.
Cardio and
just those
strength
little.
training,
I was just
yeah.
doing. Yeah, I was doing squats with 225 pounds, and then I go to doing squats with nothing in the living room. For some reason, my hips hurt now.
But you do a lot of
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
But-
Have you ever
No,
done like
it's
Pilates
because
or
I
anything
have
like that?
a motivational 8-year-old next to me doing it. That's why. So,
Yeah.
no, I don't do pilates.
Get after
All I do is,
This is politics.
but Pilates.
This is politics.
You pronounced it
I think
incorrectly.
you're mispronouncing it.
But yeah, that, and I'm going to be reading more. And I need to get on Twitter less.
Yes.
So,
Read more, tweet less.
yeah, exactly. Ooh, that's a t-shirt. That makes you look like a fucking
Yeah.
boomer.
I was gonna say, yeah, I'm not gonna wear a
You're
T-shirt
so
like that, but it
selfish
probably could
and
be
stupid
one.
when you do that.
But yeah, and actually, shout out to RM Brown. We'll see
Our Lord and
in the
Savior.
comments show if you're a cool VIP patron like we are, and you survived the recent ritual that banished VIPs to the outer realm, non-VIPs to death. But
Yes, as
I
well
actually
deserved,
had
of
I
course.
submitted a question for Inane Blather about my resolution to read more, because he seems so well read. Like, so many times people are like, hey, have you ever read this? And he's like, yeah, I have. It's like, what the fuck? How do you read all this?
Yeah, some people really like to read.
And so it's like, how do you do it? Like, literally, what's your strategy? What's your deal? Like, or is
Process.
there like a certain activity where he's able to sit and read?
He probably reads really fast.
Yeah, or if he's just a fast reader. I'm just not a very fast reader, it seems like. So
I'm a really
Yeah,
fast reader,
you
but
are.
sometimes I go in and out of wanting to read books. Like, I just get, like, right now, just can't finish this one. I can't make myself read. I don't know. Sometimes I'm just not in the mood. It's a pretty intense hobby to have, because you can't really, unless
Can't
you
do
listen to
anything
things, you can't really do
oh,
anything
and I have to
else if you're
stop
reading a
listening to
book.
my
Yeah.
audiobook because I realize that as soon as I miss a sentence, I'm like, oh shit, I'm not listening to this right now. I can only do it when
I
I'm
know.
driving.
I rewind
Yeah.
it. I used to rewind it when I would do that if I realized that I had missed something, like if I had
Oof,
drifted off. 'cause
especially
that wouldn't
listening to
happen if I was
Nixon
reading
Land.
it,
I'm like, fuck.
but-
I just missed
Yeah.
so much information
Huh?
in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Two
Who are
chapters
we
later.
talking about? What year is it right
Yeah.
now in this book? No, it's still 1968. But yeah, I think reading more. Oh, and R.M. Brown actually mentioned the next book that I'm reading because I got it from Dad for Christmas. Lawn Boy.
Oh.
It got mentioned in one of his shows lately because some wingnuts were upset that it was in the high school library or something like that. I was like, cool, this must be a good book. I'm glad I got it.
Yeah.
So there's some
Nice.
sexual content in there. Oh boy, I'll be
Ooh, must
reading
be
that.
gay.
Yeah, I'm sure it's
Yeah.
I'm sure it's gay sex or something. That's the only reason they'd freak out about it. So
Because they just want to make photocopies of it and keep it under
yeah,
their
they're like,
mattress.
this is what I was talking about. Yeah, you've been talking about it a lot, you know.
Sounds
Yeah,
like you're
sure
pretty
can-
into this, buddy.
Exactly.
Okay, well, I love you.
Love you.
Love you, bye.
Bye. Okay, bye.